Hey y'all, it's your girl Mayday Mayhem, ew. And we're coming back with another stream today. And today we have a very good friend of mine, Eddie Schaefer. Mr.
Up.
Eddie is what we call him. Mm.
Yes. Yes.
We will be having, like I said, real conversation and real topics today. If you want to start off, introduce yourself, Mr. Schaefer. You may go ahead for some of our viewers that may not know who you are.
I'm taking these off. They're glaring. Sorry.
That's or right. If you want to, we can do this because I'm probably going to do this periodically. Like I'm not going to lie.
I'll see how long I can stand looking at myself and judging myself silently. I am Eddie Schaefer, aka Mr. Eddie, aka Chocolate Danny, and I am here with Miss Mayday Mayhem, this lovely lady you see before you, who's a very concerned citizen, very informed, works with a lot of different avenues, and incredible stand-up comedian. And I'm blessed to be online, to be on this podcast today. So this webcast. So thank you for this opportunity.
No, thank you for being here, because we've been talking about doing this for a while, but everybody, we've both been busy, So
well, yeah. June is busy for a lot of these comedians. I'm seeing a lot of people post upcoming shows. I have upcoming shows.
I have upcoming shows.
Yeah. So. I don't know what it is. Like, I've been doing this for a year, since March. So March, April, May, June. March in 3 months. So yeah, I'm very happy. People are starting to get to know me. I'm getting to know them. I'm like hustling. They're kind of recognizing. I'm participating in a lot of different really cool events and opportunities, etc. Similar to things that you've done. In the kitchen being one of those opportunities.
Yeah, get in the kitchen.
Really cool.
Shout out to Get in the Kitchen, Jason M.
Yeah, and then yeah, so I guess I could start with the dates. I do have upcoming comedy shows, and
yes.
The 6th at 9 p.m. at Ashbury Improv Cafe in Willow Springs. I don't know who else I'm performing with, but it's always a hot lineup every time I see. I believe it's Christopher who puts on those shows, and really great team who work at that facility. So it's a coffee shop. It's got a cool college vibe to it. And then there's musicians who may not have been performing at all, or they want to get their chops. And so they get an opportunity. It's sort of like a talent show kind of thing meets.
Oh, okay. Like a meet and greet talent show.
Yeah, there's different levels. Yeah, there's different levels of experience that go up on stage, and there's music to comedy and all in between. So it's pretty cool, and it's a cool atmosphere. And then June 17th, I'm going to be, I forget, it's on Armitage, and Chavez Del Barrio is putting on the show. Right. I can actually get the freaking actual date. And then the 18th, I'm going to be, at E77 Sports Club. So
okay. All right.
I'm pretty excited about that. Give me 1 second. I'll find all this. Let me get professional here.
But we chilling and we giving out our information. It's y'all good.
Okay, here it is. The 17th, OMWP Studios, and that's 2113 West Armitage Avenue. And that is going to be the 17th, I believe, probably 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Now, anyone could come in, or is this an open mic, or
it's this one, the 17th is going to be a showcase. So it looks like this is locked unless he sort of goes off the cuff and does something out of pocket. But to my knowledge, that is going to be a straight up comedy showcase. And then let's see. Then the 18th.
Are tickets available? Or can you get them at the door?
You can go at the door. I believe this is I don't think he is. Boy, I am not prepared, apparently.
See how we be going off the cuff?
Exactly, right? If I'm going to do this, I think actually the last time I checked, it was a donation. So I
Okay.
think anywhere between $5 to
Maybe
10.
$10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Bear with me one second here.
Mm-mm.
All
But
right.
see, this is the time when we start picking up anyway. This is
Right.
that time.
Well, I'm in the right place for it. Yeah. So
Mhm.
17th, I mentioned the 18th E77 Sports Bar in Midlothian.
Right.
And then Red Room Comedy Club the 19th.
Okay, I know a Red Room. That's over there off Western, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Western and Howard. I was
Yes.
actually there Thursday night. I didn't get on. I just went to see some fellow comedians. Shout outs to Matt Perez and Shy Longo. They
Yes.
performed some sets and fantastic. And it was such a diverse crowd. And it's sort of the Rogers Park area that's very international and culturally diverse.
Mm-hmm.
Some queer comedians as well. So Juliana is one of the hosts.
Okay.
They do an incredible job. Incredible.
Yes.
And the Red, it's like a really cool speakeasy vibe. It's got an old school flavor. You enter through the bar, and the bar is its own cool thing. It's very dated, very old school. A lot of pool tables, so a lot of locals, and then people come in and also check out comedy. It's the vibe last night was incredible. Just Wednesday, that was a Wednesday show. Excuse me. That was a great atmosphere. I've got nothing bad to say about it. They run a great ship.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of shows at the Red Room, and I was like, okay, I have to perform there one day. Like, I have to get in there up on the stage. But now I have time. I can actually get up there since my kids are now out of school for the summer. So
that's good.
I have the summer to myself, which is a good time for actors and comedians during this time, because this is when we start picking up and having more showcases. You have more tourists coming into town. Yeah. You have more people want to catch different shows, and people want to go out and have fun, just like we do at Get in the Kitchen.
Right.
So this is around that time where it's grand time pretty much for us.
I'm getting it. So I'm poised. I'm in a good position to start seeing that for myself and viewing that for myself. So I'm feeling pretty lucky, and getting prepared for 10-minute set. Got a lot of stuff together. I'm not like the biggest punchline guy or like a tag dude. It's story time for me, but I definitely have kind of surprise stuff at the end of bits. But it's definitely a look into my world, and I think that's pretty hilarious because a lot of stuff ends up being kind of pathetic. So it's like, let's laugh at my pain.
Well, that's mostly how actors and comedians, that's how we portray our art. We want people to laugh at the pain, but also know that they're not going through this pain alone.
Absolutely.
Totally. It's like you have to laugh to keep from crying, but also you're not by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're not alone. Like, look, you think you're having a crappy day? Let me tell you about my day. If I can get through this and laugh at it, like, maybe it'll make your day a little bit more easier, make what you're going through a little bit more less stressful than what it already is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's definitely my inspiration for that. It's like, if I can make one person laugh at something ridiculous in my world and they can relate, then I've done my job.
Exactly. 100 exactly. 100.
Let's say.
But that's what it is. But that's all artists do. Even in acting, you see most of the best and performers act through their real pain, through real emotions. Yeah. And that's how it comes out so well. And it's the same thing for comedians and other entertainers. It's the same thing. It's the raw emotions that we give and make it into laughter.
Right. I don't think it's cool, like, starting to find your niche and kind of your groove, and with a lot of different folks, and there's a lot more opportunity. This is the best time to be a comedian, I think, in the city, because as I started, I noticed how many open mics have developed, how many things kind of ebbed and flowed, how a lot of players in the game have been doing it for 10 years, are starting to really capitalize on this, and people are noticing, and there's an audience for it. And Chicago-wide, Chicagoland has open mics and really
Every-
quality rooms that are accessible, and I'm just really happy to be a part of it. I mean, I started as a musician.
Okay.
I've been in live bands since I was like 19
Okay.
and in the 90s, so now I'm dating myself here, but I started in a lot of alternative rock bands, if you wanted to call it alternative, but this trio I was in was kind of a blend of funk, punk, and ska and pop music. And we toured a lot. We didn't get out of the state really. We kind of did really kind of got a good hold on the Midwest, and the popularity grew. And we were very fortunate to have a 10-year run before we kind of went our separate ways to do our own thing and figure other things out. And then in Chicago, when I moved here in 2000, I got involved in another band, kind of a heavier, like pop punk, new wave, and metal, kind of like fusion band.
Okay.
A lot of harmonies at the same time. I know people are like, "You play jazz?" It's like, but I mean, I love jazz. Jazz and funk are definitely, I think, my forte. You know, as far as rhythmically, how I approach the guitar. You know, how I don't do traditional chords, and I do things that are more considered voicings or things that color up or try to kind of evoke an emotion. But I've become a much better songwriter overall. And so I've been doing this for like, oh geez, we'll say many decades.
many moons.
Many moons. Many moons, many wars, many eclipses. So that's still on the table. And so I have a band called Meds, MEDS. And it was my buddy Mike, who's also had the same trajectory in music as I have when he was a kid. But then our bands also knew each other when we were like, 19, 20 years old. And we were from a town called Kankakee, and they were from a town called Tinley Park. So the Chicagoland area, different counties, but we tour together. We just, you find people you have common ground with, you find your tribe within the tribe. And it was great influences on each other. And so him and I got an acoustic duo years later after playing in a lot of different outfits. Now we have a bass player and a drummer who are phenomenal. And for the first time, there's like no drama. And there's a lot of talent, and we're all collaborating, and the quality is there, and they're really complimenting the work that Mike and I have been doing for the last 10 years. And so I'm excited. And of course, I still do the radio thing on Thursdays. WZRD, it's FM 88.3 FM, and that's in the Northeastern Illinois University campus.
Yes, I was there once, and it's awesome. Like, I had such a blast there. Like,
I'm glad you did.
I loved it. Like, it was one of the most awesome radio shows I was on. Like, it was fun. So
thank you.
I had an awesome time there.
Yeah.
And I understand that you like came from music, and then now you're switching over into comedy.
Yeah. So
are you taking some of that music experience and putting it into your comedy?
I haven't figured out how to. People have suggested that I play guitar on stage, and I'm just like, I'd kind of like in the arena of comedy to be known for comedy and to be known for what I have to say, how I deliver, and I want to get really good at it that way in a traditional sense. But,
well, yeah, when I say, I mean, far as like some of your experience from the band, like, a wild night and telling the story on stage, are you pulling some of that and throwing it into your schlick, because you can find some funny stuff that happened in the past, and
oh God, yeah.
And throw that in the mix, you can do that.
Absolutely. I think it's impossible for me not to do that. I think it's impossible because I'm very active, and I enjoy yelling, but I'm like trying to dial that back necessarily, but I do get excited. I do like to kind of emote, and I guess I do sort of bark at times in the way that I've projected vocals on stage, because I've been a front man for everything that I've done in every band that I've been in. I've essentially been a front man. So I had to learn how to sing, play guitar at the same time, and perform. So the performing element is there. So I want to, so I approach my sets, and sometimes it's chill. But I think my philosophy and I think my energy and kind of how hype I typically get when I want to move a crowd, I want to perform like it's the last show I'm going to play.
But that's how every performer is. It's like you want to give your all. This is the last show ever, like you want to give that experience. So
yeah,
absolutely.
And there was a fellow comedian, older gentleman, who had said he saw a set and he's like, man, you really bring it. You bring it. And I'm like, cool. I don't know if like everybody's okay with it, but I think most folks that I see respond well to animation and and high energy. And it's an art to figure out how to kind of like ebb and flow and bring it down and then pop. So I think that's an art into itself, perhaps that I'm still perfecting, or maybe with some people I have it, and with other people it's like, yeah, you need to put a little bit more tech into that. I suppose it's really telling. I mean, whatever, it's like I come in a very unorthodox way, and when I first started, there's a black club like South Chicago that I did 2 performances at. Totally ate shit, but it was sort of an inset crowd that was there, and they ran a really tight ship. They had a DJ. It was very tight back to back. But, sometimes they let people just kind of go off the cuff and you're like, hey, am I going to get on stage or here? And that's cool. And I think it's different in cultures of different types of environments. I think Riddles probably has a similar vibe to it, but I think they're more, I have yet to go to Riddles, but I've seen a live show there and it's great. They run a great tight
Riddles,
ship.
I've been at Riddles. Riddles, they run a very good tight ship show, and they're very, very good at telling you like, hey, this is your light. And they will cut the mic if or the host will come up.
Right.
They might give you a minute, maybe 30 seconds, but because people are paying money sometimes to get in those clubs, and they have to make sure that they have all performers, because the performers sometimes get paid too. So, and you also, it's not even about the payment, it's about performing. You want to get up there and show your set and get your whole set. And then if your set is stepped on by another artist, now your set is shorter. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be very timely, and you have 7 minutes. That means at 6, I'm giving you that light. You got 1 minute left.
I noticed in the first, I'm not going to name the place, but it's a great spot. But I think for like first time comedians, it's a trial by fire, and I noticed there's a delivery difference. You can get really wild and just kind of talk gibberish or about something. You can lead into something that's kind of wild and they accept you. But out the gate, I think I started saying some pretty wild, dirty stuff. And so people were just like, whoa. And, Mo Good, right? Like that's where I first met her before she like skyrocketed. And there was another comedian who's been a guy for 20 years, And so afterward, I get off stage and they're just like, oh, yeah, you probably shouldn't talk about blowjobs like right away in your set. I was like, really? There's rules? And then Mo Good looked at me. She's like, you nasty, aren't you? And I'm just like, I'm just a wild person.
Right.
And she's like, come through my open mic. And she was doing something on the West Side. And I didn't get around to it before she didn't have time, I guess, to do it anymore. And then it just stopped. So I thought, shoot, man, I think that's probably when things are starting to take off. And now she's Zany's. She's basically like, she's running it. She's crushing it. And good for her, because and I'm glad I got to like connect with her. And what I noticed early on, like even Steven Springer, he was at this particular club. And
I know Steven, yeah.
Cool. He got up and did his thing, and he's like, hey, come, I think your comedy would work with my club. You should come through. And so I went through and kind of ate shit there too. But I was noticing like how I was starting strong and tripped myself up. Like these are the first like handful of gigs, and just kind of getting my feet wet in different crowds and things like that, and expecting hiccups, and then you learn how to problem solve later. And since then, you know, I've done some things, and I'm like, oh, starting to kind of float away, my concentration, or I'm about to flake on something, and then I'm like, you know what, switch gears, do crowd work, cool, you know. So I've been able to navigate things on the fly a little better. So this is Batman year one. So then I was talking to a cat, you know, and I was basically going off of premises and concepts and just storytelling stuff with like weird zingers at the end. And then you're kind of told, once you ask around, it's like, yeah, you should probably start. The first year was setting up real significant punchlines and working on tags. Like, oh wow, I've been doing it backwards, but it's probably, it's all subjective, I guess, in the long run, because I've been in front of actual crowds, like Comedy Bar, did kind of like set up punch, like the way that I do it, the way I see it. And I've entertained a lot of people and had them rolling, but also sometimes the best thing to do is throw away your material, read the crowd.
Yes.
And kind of go, all right. And there was a crowd at Comedy Bar, and I'm like, I don't know if my material, if I felt a low energy that night, and I thought, I wonder if the crowd is too. So I went up and I'm like, hey, when you guys got here, as soon as you sat down 5 minutes in, where you're like, I can't wait to get the hell out of here, I don't care about comedy. And everyone just started laughing. It's like, I don't want to be here either. Like, I had McDonald's earlier, which is the wrong idea. I had to shit the entire time I've been on this stage. That people were like, ah. So I go, okay, cool. That was, sometimes you follow your instincts and it's right on. And there's been a 2-3 times, a good handful of times that I've done that and I've been successful. I've used that, but you constantly, you got to, for me, my brain has to be on all the time. You constantly have to think. You got to think about a lot more things. I did this power hour, and I pretty much got harshed immediately as soon as I got on stage by a drunk comedian, which you got to be prepared for that.
You got to be ready for that.
You got to be ready. Like, even if it's just like, whoa, like, said some out of pocket stuff. Like, you're not that hot of a comic. Who are you to say some wild shit? But, you know, but you got to have that. You can't take it. You got
to be ready for it. You can't take it personally.
You can't take it personally. It's all in the game. And I got hazed well. So I've been initiated many times. I mean, people can say that. Yeah. And then the cat who was playing drums at the time, I think it was Brandon Kiefer, who's playing drums. Great guy, incredible comedian. Okay. He's like, hey, Eddie, you play guitar, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, we got this mandolin back here. I was like, oh, you want me to play guitar, stop doing comedy? He's like, yeah, come on, man. So I got the mandolin, and I'm like, I'm a lefty, so it's strung up for a right-handed person. I started just started doing my thing, and the whole crowd was like, whoa! Like, it's like suddenly I blew their mind for the first time. And I jammed
because they didn't expect it. It was unexpected.
So I jammed with the band, and now I've seen a couple of them since. They're like, man, you play your ass off like this guy over here. So I go, that's cool. You know, and I'll take it. I'll take the win. It's an ugly win. But I redeemed myself that night, and I just jammed, and that was my set, you know, and it was sort of, that's what it was. And you can't have expectations with any venue, honestly. You can't go in there and be like, I'm going to crush. No, I'm gonna like, oh, these people are lame. I'm gonna bring the energy level way up, and then you do what you do, and they're like,
we didn't like that.
They don't know you
yet. Right?
They didn't yet. They don't know you yet. Right. So you got to be humble, and which is a motto I think I've been maintaining fairly consistently. Be nice as you can, be humble as you can, take whatever offers you get.
Yes.
You know, don't worry about their attitude or anyone's shine or whatever and just be like, hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind your advice on this. That'd be really cool, you know? I think they can appreciate it. So
constructive criticism.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, there's a few that'll just be like, they'll just be blunt about it. And you're like, I don't even understand. Are you acting right now, or are you actually irritated? It's just what it is. And sometimes I feel like I'm too normal to be a comedian. And then there's other times where I'm just like, I'm absolutely supposed to be doing comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like my life, I know I'm supposed to be doing comedy. Like there's no way.
Says
Oh,
the
someone
bell.
put the beer.
Says the angel bells. That was a sign.
There's a sign.
Yeah. Especially over the last few years, a lot of life changes, a lot of trauma, a lot of things that kind of jacked me up,
Right.
led me to kind of abuse things or self-medicate my own way, which I had to seek counseling for and dial back and be disciplined in my own health and my own mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what goes along with it is, again, mental health. A lot of people think that comedians are always happy and funny and go lucky, but it's also a lot of hurt and mental incapacity behind it. It
I think
really is.
I think there's a reason why a lot of folks are stoned or drunk most of the time, you know?
It's the numb. It's the
Yeah.
numb the pain. It's
Yeah.
the self medicate. It's
Mhm.
literally the self medicate. Like, I came from Homeland Security background. Like,
That's right. You did tell
that's
me.
where I came back. That's where I came from. But I ended up having a car accident. So I ended up having to have a plate and 4 screws put in my neck.
Mm.
So that pretty much ended my career. But, I had to learn to live differently. I had to learn that, you can't do this anymore and you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I had to learn those things all over again. And it became very depressing. It
Yeah.
really did. To the point where I now have like fibromyalgia, where my nerves go insane.
Mm.
I have
Yeah.
depression due to the accident and things that led up to it and the things that happened after it. Like, it's a lot that goes along with it, but turn that sadness into something happy. The whole saying, turning lemons into lemonade.
Absolutely.
So,
I'm glad you're
you
able
know,
to do it.
oh yes, absolutely. I it was either do it or you don't, and it wasn't you don't. There wasn't you don't do it choice. It's like you have to do this. I
Right.
have children, you know, that depended on me, family that depended on me, and a lot of people that's suffering in a mental illness and issues, they don't see that when they're in their illness, so to
Yeah.
say, or when they're self-medicating. They don't think, oh, anyone cares. And that's the total opposite.
Mhm.
And it's like a destructive attitude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and definitely. God, in my 30s, I was Jesus incredibly self-destructive. I mean, basically
Mm-hmm.
all the way until I kind of hit ahead, and I was, gainfully employed. I've been a social worker for
Mm-hmm.
3 years, and at some point, it just what I was doing to relieve a lot of things that all of a sudden started coming to the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of self judgment, a lot of things not accepting of myself, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fear of, hey, this is my actualized self. How's this going to bode with some family or some friends? And can I be authentically myself again? And now that I'm so self conscious of everything for the first time, and I just wanted to numb it myself, and I closetedly did that, and just got into really bad habits, was still doing the work, but it came to a head, and luckily it was recognized, and it came with a lot of support from my work staff.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually I talked to family about it, and certain family I knew would be like, whoa. And that was nerve
Mm-hmm.
wracking. But I did it on my birthday, me and my brother, and I kind of came out and said, hey, I've been addicted to certain things and because of
Mm-hmm.
XYZ. And I didn't tell him
Mm-hmm.
every nuanced thing, but
Right, of course.
he and his wife afterwards, and I don't hear this much from him, is like, we love you. Please take
Mm-hmm.
care of yourself. And don't
Mm-hmm.
get too gassed up into what other people think. At the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
it's up to you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I said, I didn't get into every detail, but I think they saw the writing on the wall. I think they knew what I was laying down. And so
Mm-hmm.
ever since then, like my relationship with his wife has been better, and a lot of things have been better. I mean, there's been some challenges some relapses.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that I don't
No
want to
one's
ever.
perfect.
Yeah, and I know that I don't want to ever go. Well, I stopped relying on, oh, I've been sober for X amount of months. I've got to make it to a year. Oh, I fell off. Something happened. Oh, temptation, yada, yada, yada. I stopped kicking myself about that and just said, look, I know I don't ever want to be in the place that I was before. All I know
Exactly.
is I want to have maximum energy, maximum productivity for as long as possible. And
Mm-hmm.
eventually my fat ass will get back to the gym, and that'll be a whole nother transformation too. But I've heard this, you gotta get better the same way you got sick, slowly.
Slowly. It's a
So
slow process.
yeah, yeah. And I'm done at it. So I'm being in the moment, working on just not judging myself or worrying about a timeline or worrying about 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, and creating that stupid downward spiral again. It does me no good to shame myself,
No.
any of those things. So, but I'm moving forward. I'm doing a lot of shit. I got to remember that,
Yes.
I'm involved in a lot of really healthy artistic things.
Yes.
And I'm also involved with the mental health community.
Mm-hmm.
I've been someone who has helped people get social security, help them get medication consistently that they require, work in like employment opportunities
Mm-hmm.
through a resource of ours. A lot of opportunities to help them live independently and to live competently, even with their mental health struggle.
And that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
That's an awesome thing that you're actually helping to strengthen and to help, people, because nowadays in this world that we live in, people don't help people. It's only for self gain, self enjoyment, self pleasure. It's not for to help, literally to seriously help someone
right.
with
Well,
nothing in
yeah.
return, just to help.
Yeah, we're all in it together. I mean, as corny
Yeah.
as it sounds. And I think the pandemic really shone a light on who we really are and where
Mm-hmm.
we really need to go. And I think all of the madness and atrocities and things that we've done to each other, it's gone to extreme ways, but real movements have finally happened and real evolution has also happened, to better those things and to not repeat those things and to not create more hurt. And I know there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot. I know there's a pronoun war going on, and there's a lot of
Yes.
things that aren't kosher to say, and some people take things out of context when they're not
Yes.
kosher. But at the same time, it'll equal itself out at some point. Things are really topsy turvy due to just like internet exposure and not real contact.
Mm-hmm.
Government's jacked up on all sides. We go from Floyd to Trump to pandemic to the Ukraine, and then maybe more pandemic, and then Johnny Depp and Amanda Heard. I mean, you can't catch a break.
And not to mention baby formula. Babies without formula. That's still astounding to me. How did United States run out of baby formula? And
I don't know, man.
United States makes 98% of the baby formula in the world. And we had to outsource to the other 2% of the world to bring in baby formula, because the baby formula that we had here was literally contaminated, literally killing children. Like allegedly literally killing children due to salmonella meningitis poisoning.
Yeah, we got to raise the price of gas, but baby formula is too expensive. Use the
Right.
Flint, Michigan water.
Right. And then I've heard so many people say, well, why can't women just breastfeed? Some women can't breastfeed, right? You do know that. And what about men that are primary caregivers to infants? How are they supposed to feed the babies?
Yeah.
They can't produce milk, so they're going to need formula. Or you have adoptive parents
Yeah.
that are coming in with a newborn baby. How are they supposed to breastfeed a baby? They need formula.
Yeah.
And
some of
it's
us have
ridiculous.
D cups. Some of us have D cups, but it does not have the same milk producing properties as the as the lady.
You ain't got the ducks. You ain't got the little ducks to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm nan for nan with nipples. I done lost nan and it got back. You know, I'm nan for nan. I am nan for nan.
Let's see what you're working with. I'm kidding. Let's see those products of American mammary. You're great. So yeah, a lot of and to add my 2 cents on we can afford more military armament. Seems that we're eking further and further into more physical involvement with the Ukraine and Russia conflict. And It's like at some point we're going to be asleep at the wheel and we're going to be fully involved.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you know what? And then then the mass shootings. I mean, like a double header 2 weeks in a row. I'm like, it's okay. I'm 50 years old. I know I'm the prettiest 50-year-old you're going to see today, but I'm an okay. Pride, but
he fan, y'all. He fan.
Pride teeth. So, but I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of changes, and I remember a time where it was like not politically correct, but what's the word I'm looking for? Humane, more humane, and maybe things are out of pocket, but you can talk that smack and still be cool, or have differences of opinion, different political parties, and still go to each other's cookout.
Yeah.
Now things have gotten really polarized and tribed up, and we're all aware of that. I'm sure people are tired of hearing those sound bites from people, but it's true. And after these shootings, and with the wake of everything that we've experienced in the last few years, I'm just like, how did we get here? I'm finally at a place where I'm just, who put the domino effect in motion? Who's zooming who here? Like, who set this ring of fire ablaze?
Right, like who's in control? Like who's really at the wheel of the helm? Like who's really doing this? Because again, you have the mass shootings, and allegedly there was another shooting today, this time at a church. So now people are afraid to go to the grocery store. People are afraid to go to cemeteries. People are afraid to send their children to elementary schools. People are afraid to go to doctor's offices. It's like, are we being shut in and closed off to the world again, which is going to make more depression and more mental illness, and also mask more mental illness because people are being hidden. Like it's almost like we're being pretty much pushed and hidden because you're scared to go anywhere. You're scared. Like you're for real scared. Like I'm not gonna lie, you're scared.
Oh, I would, and 100%. And I'm thinking to myself, and I don't want to think this, but things are so wacky, and things have been revealed so much to us. Things are so much more transparent because of media.
Yes.
That it's like, is this an agenda of control? Is this some sort of whack, just like psychotic agenda from the powers that be, or whatever 1% that you want to call it, to keep us separated? I mean, we're clearly already doing that. You know, Antifa, Proud Boy, Republican, Democrat, Progressive. If you're outside the box, if you're someone who's actually trying to like look at all sides and unify, you're a minority.
Yeah.
And obviously the arts is a way to break that bullshit up.
And call it out.
Yeah.
And we call it out. Like, you're not seeing the comparison between this and this. It's the same thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's just like shit's got bold. And like subversive, but also out in the open at the same time. It's bizarre to me. I cannot, all I can do is say the serenity prayer over and over and control what I'm able to control. And be the change that I want to see, and start with me, you know?
Absolutely.
Which is why I have to go to the gym, because the fatter I get, the worse the world is going to be. I've tied those two things together, finally.
No.
I'm an idiot.
No, the world, I don't know. Like I said, I'm I'm mature. Like I'm a
Yes.
very mature woman.
Yes.
But I can remember when literally things weren't this bad. And it seems like
Yeah.
things are
Yeah.
amping up and it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's like things are very much amping up to where, again, you find these children, which they are children, they're 18 fucking years old, they're children, that are able to get AR-15 style weaponry. They are able to walk into stores and legally buy guns. And if they're depressed or feeling some type of way, now they've let the emotions take over with their anger, and now they've killed innocent kids or people for no reason, or sometimes it's a reason of hate, you know. So how can we fix this?
Yeah.
Like, how can we fix humanity when humanity seems like it doesn't want to fix itself?
It's strange. It seems, and I've skimmed the surface of the news story and all the things that have been written about this last shooting and how I think Beto O'Rourke, I forget which state he represents, he tried running for president, but he confronted the judicial system and the police of that particular town in Texas.
Okay,
they're trying to shut him down, but he was calling them out, and I feel like, for what little knowledge I know, maybe you can expound on this, but it seems the way the enforcement in that town have been working around it, maybe a little backwards, or maybe they have a different attitude about it. I just don't know. I don't have enough research, but it seems there's already this us against them. Like, the police are not in the right frame of mind to be dealing with it, or there's an insensitivity, according to people who are critiquing their involvement and how they manage that situation. Of course, you're going to see a lot of, oh, look how nicely they treated the white mass shooter, as opposed to, young black men who just have gotten gunned down, or it's
a double standard.
It's a double standard, and I'm not saying one doesn't exist, but things are also out of context at the same time for me, and I mean, it's up to me to do more research, and I'm sure some people listening are just like, you don't know the details, how dare you? But yeah, probably because honestly,
the details keep change.
Also, I got the headlines, and I'm like, I don't want to get too emotionally wrapped up in the news right now. It's really what it comes down. Because I know it's fucked up. I know I know everything everyone's talking about has a bit of truth to it. So I don't want to accept it. I already know it's fucked. I already accept it. I don't want to I'm hearing the same story over and over, the same story of hate, the same story of mistrust, the same story of lack of professionalism, lack of empathy, lack of mismanagement, or excuse me, lack of correct management, lack of equity, lack of equality, all the same themes over and fucking over again, man. And it's like, I want to smash shit. Like, I want to fuck shit up. And I'm like, nope. Right. I gotta go do comedy. I gotta go laugh at something, or I gotta go watch a friend do it, or I gotta go play music, or let me get on the radio and go off on the radio and just like express myself through art, which is kind of how I've always done it. But now with social work, I'm verbally and physically advocating, and I'm helping people stay off the street. And now I'm finding housing, and I'm at some point I really need to, and I'm dealing with my own issues in the house right now. It's like they're raising the rent, but there's a rodent issue. And I was close to getting a new apartment, but their company found that I was late at a few rent payments. But it's like the manager I was working with at my building already was working stuff out with me for the last 2 years. Like, hey, just give us a call. If you're a few days late, whatever, let us know. Or if you pay half now, pay later in the month, fine. But then it got to like, I think corporate, and I ended up not getting the apartment. And I confronted my landlady about it, who runs my building. She's like, I never said anything like that to anybody, to any. I said, well, someone in your company did. So I clearly gave, I got the wrong number across to the wrong department. I didn't know her personal number. I would have just sent, I didn't think they would do that. I think because all my other things had cleared, my background check, my evictions, any conviction stuff, all the stuff that I do for clients. And it went through. So I thought, wow, I'm 99.9 going to get an apartment. And then just the late rental payments were like the focus from them.
But we're just coming out of a pandemic. Like half of the world didn't pay rent for a whole year.
You know what? And it's also in Illinois or in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it's renters' rights. So now people are just being
dicks about it.
They're just being dicks about it. So now they're just kind of like, oh, you were late a couple times. Like, motherfucker, did you see all the other shit that passed? Did you see my W-2s and how I got 2 motherfucking gainfully employed gigs? Do you see what the fuck I do for a living? Fuck out of here, man.
Right.
And I'm the scumbag, go fuck yourself. Yep. And so it's just sort of like, just the total gatekeeping thing that's happening. And so control. And so now that I'm doing it as a career, now I'm like, well, now I'm going to really get up realtors' fucking asses about shit. Now I'm really going to I'll be a fucking dick back. And case in point, there was a client, one of our clients from a nursing home who's going to get housing. And because of another person who had really messed up, they decided we're not going to take any more housing vouchers. We're not going to take any more Section 8. But the person that I'm bringing in has no negative background. He has no late bills. He's no convictions, evictions. He's clean slate. He's got a weak bladder after a hernia operation. That's the only thing. But we have resources to help him with that. But he has nothing that's going to impede
on him living here.
Yeah, not
So
we found out, hey, that's illegal. And so so my supervisor confronted them and said, you can't discriminate against other people under the housing voucher. And thank God that there's been legislation passed in a Williams and Colbert decree. It's allowing more people with mental health coming out of nursing homes to have access to live independently and become functional members of society again. So now I'm noticing there is pushback from that, even with people that aren't like me, quote, mental health issues. There's pushback to people trying to fucking get ahead, man. It's like my credit, I've worked hard on my credit in the last year and last 2 years, really. And so I'm like, I don't know where I'm at, but I'm like, I'm enough of a range to where I qualify for most apartments right now that are on the market.
Yeah.
So to just be told some left field shit like, oh, it's because you've been late a couple times in your rent. What the fuck does that have to do with all the other things that have been cleared with me? That's some bullshit.
And that sounds a little discriminatory. Like what, because I was late on rent a couple of times within the past 2 years. Like, but was it paid? Was it paid? It was paid. So
yeah, I'm not months behind. I've resolved everything consistently that I may have been a week or two behind on because I'm responsible and I'm in constant communication with the company. So I'm just so now it's like, okay, the rent raise is in July. So it's like, hey, I got to do a month to month, or you got to find a place that doesn't have a rodent issue, either in this building or another building under your company. And I need help with that. I need help with that since you already fucked me over. So, or who do I contact for the next department that you can tell them, hey, he's good with the rent thing. Don't trip. So now I'm back to square one. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it's very frustrating because there's no reason. any of that should have happened.
Yeah.
No reason.
Yeah.
I don't.
It really makes me just want to be self-destructive or do some out-of-pocket shit.
But
so,
but you know what good would that do?
It wouldn't. I got to be chill. I got to be cool because it's beyond being mad at this point. Yeah. I'm going to be real blunt. It's so much nigga shit right now that it's beyond even questioning why, because people are absolutely just disgusting with the rights of others and conditions of other people. And it's just some real fucking, I don't know. It's just, it's trashy. It's just trashy behavior all around. So yeah, I mean, as an artist or as a creative, people who go through these things, you know, they have a tendency to abuse, or there's some, I mean, it can exacerbate people who are already dealing with something heavy in their life. And this is just what I've talked about for the last few minutes is one aspect. And one of the things I wanted to parlay that into was being an artist or just being a creative, and kind of acknowledging and looking at why we seem to be the people that are hardest hit, you know, and the ones that abuse the most are the ones that could be affected the most and have a tendency to self-medicate more. And I'm wondering if it's like there's a sensitivity level to that. You see it over and over and over again with creatives and artists, musicians, comedians, people in the public eye. And we need us, you know, because we're the ones who are calling things out. Similar to musicians in the 90s, it's the comedians in the 2000s that are the proponents. You know, they're the ones supporting free speech. They're the ones that are the most informed, the most engaged, the most able to combat things through comedy. You know what I mean? Like, I think of a line from Eminem, like, even truth be said in jest. And I think that's indicative to, you know, things lyrically and hip hop, music, comedy, all that. So yeah, I kind of wanted to at some point parlay what I was riffing off of into this subject, and curious what your thoughts are about it.
I have to agree. Like, when you're going through a stressful situation, and again, being an artist and being a comedian, it's an outlet. You know, it's almost, it's not a hobby because it's a job, but it's like a hobby of a job that you love. And it's an outlet. It's a real outlet. It's a stress reliever. Just like a lot of times when I'm having a really, really bad week or month, I go to the gun range.
I got to hit you up with that. You got to
go to the gun range.
You got to remind me when you do that. I want to go.
Yes, I go to the gun range. It's a good stress reliever. Like, it's something I've been doing since I was like 15, 16 years old. So it's something that I kept up with. So it's a good stress reliever. And anything that relieves some type of stress off your life, because again, you want to be happy and jubilant and make other folks laugh, but you have sometimes the weight of the show of the world on your shoulders, and you still have to produce entertainment, you know, whether it's music. You know, it's been times that I'm pretty sure you had to play and you wasn't feeling it, but you had to go out there and do it. Same thing with comedy. You may be having a very crummy week. You may have been in and out of the hospital or situations with family, but you still have to get up there and make the magic, you know?
I guess I look back, there's been 4 weeks off, and I'm like, I haven't done a stand-up. Holy shit. dealing
Mhm.
with the things that I'm dealing with, and
Mhm.
really focusing on that. And also, the longer you take, the more self-conscious you get. So I'm
Yep.
like, okay, well, it's good I got these shows coming up, and it's given me time to practice. But I also feel like I'm letting the community down because, and this is in my own head. Probably nobody cares. But there's probably some people that are like, I haven't seen Mr. Eddie out, and
Yeah. Yes.
that's in my mind. So I'm conscious of that. And
Mhm.
it's like, I haven't gone anywhere, but I just had to kind of deal with me for a minute.
Well, you have to self-preservation is best preservation because if you don't have self-love, how can you have love for others? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or how can you help others?
Yeah.
Like again, I have to agree. Like I had to literally take a break from my podcast for at least a couple of weeks because I had family issues that I had to deal with.
Right.
It had to be dealt with. And I don't want my viewers or fans to think that, oh, she just dropped off the face of the earth. No, I was just dealing with some family stuff. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to
Same.
deal with life real quick. And
Right.
sometimes it will knock you in your brakes and say, whoa, 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 buddy. You got to deal with this situation. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, above all else, that can wait for a second. You have to deal with this first.
Yeah.
And then you'll be in a better mind space and a better head space to be productive and be creative and push out more of you. You know what I'm saying? Without being stricken with depression or
Yeah.
worrying about other things because you can't focus like that. You
Yeah.
really can't focus.
And I've definitely I've been experiencing that. And I do
Mhm.
have a referral from a doctor, to this place. Is like, so I'm like, I got to get another therapist because it's been forever
Mhm.
since I've had one. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I finally got a hold of him today and said, hey, I got referred from such and such doctor, should be in the system. They're like, oh, well, we'll have to do a full registration. You're not in the system. And I'm just like, this was a week ago that this fucking script went through. Why? Like, and I was finally getting irritated because I'm also burning the candle at both ends right now.
Mhm.
And twice the call got dropped twice as I'm waiting and I'm almost getting ready. So the second, third time I got to hold the right person, got dropped. And again, the theme being, we're working on maintaining your level of mental health. So do the work. I'm getting on the phone. I got an opportunity before they close. Call gets dropped a third time. I'm like, son of a bitch. Fuck it.
Right.
I'm gonna.
Right. You get discouraged.
It's not gonna happen today, clearly, because I don't want to
Mhm.
experience that a third time. I
Mhm.
said, you know what? I'll fucking call Monday.
Mhm.
And it's so ridiculous, man. And I just thought, you know what? I'm being tested, and I'm just
Yeah,
being
it's a
tested.
test.
And the easy thing to do is go run to the spot, go run to my dealer or run to a dealer, and do whatever you do
Mhm.
and numb your mind completely. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to do
No.
that,
Right.
because honestly, any kind of addiction, as
Mhm.
you said earlier, is really comes down to dealing with pain,
It's pain.
dealing with trauma, and dealing with
Mhm.
feelings that you don't want to feel.
Nope.
And as an adult, as an actualized person,
Mhm.
and having gone through that and experienced the dark side of it to the light, I know the tools, I know the drill, and there's always going to be discomfort. There's
Oh yeah.
always going to be something that gets the best of you. There's always someone's going to say something out of pocket. There's always somebody that's going to rub you the wrong way. There's always something that you're going to do where you fucking hate yourself suddenly. It's never going to end. And it's how you deal with it. It's how you react to it. And you can't keep going back to that route because it'll catch up to you in a really negative way. And I don't want to go out like that. I got too much pride for that.
Yeah, and it's always going to be a test. Every day you are going to be tested no matter how big or small or minute the test might be, you're going to be tested. Like myself, yes, I believe in getting therapy. Yes, I see a therapist. I need to get a new therapist. But I'm in the same spot trying to get a new therapist. And again, our government makes it so hard with insurance companies that you have to get a referral to even see a therapist.
Oh
And then sometimes the insurance is an issue because the insurance don't want to pay for that therapist. And, it's always a glitch. But again, it's a test.
Yeah.
It's a test. And like my mother says, you know, you're only as strong as what you've been through. You know, you went through this, you're stronger than what you was yesterday, and you'll continue to get stronger. You just have to take it one day at a time, one step at a time.
Right.
And again, therapy is also a great outlook dealing with mental illness and substance abuse, because again, some people just need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
To be honest, they just need a listening ear. They just literally need someone to just sit down and just say, what the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, tell me what's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like the color blue. Why don't you like the color blue? Oh, well, it reminds me. Oh, so the blue brings on trauma to you. Well, maybe you shouldn't paint your walls the color blue. Maybe you should go with a white base color or a yellow or reflective color. You know,
you'd be a terrible therapist. You're so aggressive.
I would need aggressive patients. You know, like I only take aggressive patients.
Right.
Like,
right.
You got a
nerve for good motherfuckers. You need someone to come at them sideways.
Right. You coming at me sideways? Oh, my turn. You know,
right. Exactly. Like they respect and respond to that better. Yeah, there's some. I'm sure there
are some people that, like, I've always sound very blunt, you know, and I respond better to bluntness. Like, don't beat around the bush with me. Don't analyze. Don't say this lip gloss is no. I don't want to hear that. Tell me the cold, hard truth. Right. Tell me what it is that you're trying to get to me, or what you're trying to get me to understand, because I'm not understanding, going in circles. No, you're going to confuse me, and then you're going to piss me off, and now I'm going to cuss you out. So no, your best bet is to be very blunt, very precise. What is it that you want from me? What do you want? What do you expect? Am I supposed to learn a lesson from this? Oh, okay. So I'm supposed to be learning while doing this. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Tell me what I'm supposed to do, because obviously I'm coming to you because I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling something is not right in my world, and I'm coming to you. So don't send me on a trip around the moon. Please don't do that. Just help me find what I need to help find within myself, so I can use those tools for when I'm going through a situation later on in life, that I can pull from those tools and better help myself. You know what I'm saying? So I won't keep redoing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah. People have been really blunt with me, you know, and I'm at a sensitivity level where it's just like, hey, don't come and be harsh all the time. Like,
yes,
but I've been able to take it, you know, but some people have taken it to a point where it's just like, hey, you're out of pocket. Let's dial it back. But then I'm blunt too, you know, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but at the same time, sometimes I have to be direct. And then I've had to be direct with someone recently, and they're dealing with mental health, but it was a roommate situation. And I was just like potential for, and I'm like, there's things that weren't firing on all registers, and the way we were communicating, and maybe the way he was communicating at times. And I was just like, hey, look, these are the things I'm seeing. I don't think it's a good fit. Sorry. You know, so, and then when they don't get it, it's kind of like, oh man, now I gotta get more detailed. Okay.
Sometimes, you know, you have to set boundaries, and sometimes people cross those boundaries, and sometimes it's not wrong to let someone know, hey, you've crossed the line a little bit. You've crossed that boundary that I have set, and this is not only set for you, but this is also set for me. You know, there are boundaries in any situation. There are boundaries, you know, and I handle people accordingly. You know, of course, I wouldn't be so blunt with a more shy or a timid person.
Right.
Of course, I'm going to be more on their level, you know, mirror image. Yeah. You know, I'm going to mirror you so I can talk to you. But if you're an aggressive person, oh, I'll get aggressive with you just so you can understand.
Well, that's the thing. I'll match your energy with what you're putting out. at the end of the day.
Right. Mirror image.
Yeah.
You
Do I
know?
want? It came to a point where it's like I've had that abuse, I've had that trauma, I've had that disrespect
Mm-hmm.
thrown at me, and it toughened me up. It made me harder. And then I was a guy with my dukes up for a long time. And finally now through therapy, through sobriety, through treatment,
Mm-hmm.
I've been like, I think my ego is secure enough, and it should be secure enough to where I don't have to win a fight every time.
No.
Because that shit is exhausting. Just being
Yes.
like this. The entire time I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna let you have that and walk.
Mm-hmm.
Peace.
It's okay to walk away. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to lose a fight. Or what
Yeah.
they say, take that L. You know what?
Yeah.
I will take that L for my peace, my tranquility, my sobriety. I'll take that L, whatever.
Because
You know,
because it also tells me, well, I won't be fucking with you anymore, for sure.
there
I'm
you
not going to
go.
put myself in that situation, or I'm not going to put myself in that situation again. Because I've seen the same result over and over, and the madness is where you think you have control over it, but the same result occurs, and you think you have the ability to control it. It's like it's not in your control. Let it go, man. And so so at finally this point in my life, it took me this long of trial and error, but I'm here and I'm more conscious and better with myself, and just able to walk away more, and it maintains your happiness so much more. And when I hear
And it maintains your health.
yeah, oh my God, all around. I mean, your physical and mental health, because it affects both. I mean, it's sort of like a quantum physics theory, when you're just like, when you're putting negative entities into water. I don't know how they were testing it out, but they did some test where it's like the water became putrid and green instead of very clear. And that's because go ahead.
They actually did a study, I believe it was in Japan, where they actually did that. They put water, clear, pure water, in two different rooms. They had one room where it was blasting negative energy, negative words like "I hate you," "you're disgusting," bad things. And in the other room, they were blasting more positive, angelic type music, positive reinforcement. And when they actually looked at the crystallized water, the water that was getting the positive influence and the positive reconstruction was clear and beautiful and very intricate flakes, versus the one that was getting negative energy. It was, like you said, green, putrid, discolored. It wasn't well. So that's letting you know that words do have power and it has energy, and negative words do affect people because it affects water. It affects you. It will affect you.
Yeah.
And a lot of time people go through instance of substance abuse and depression because the people that they are around, they denote negativity.
Yeah.
And they, kind of feed off of that. So then they start feeling bad about themselves. So it is a thing with the positive and negative energy influence. It really is. That's a scientific thing. You feel better when you hear or get positive news versus when you hear or get negative news.
Yeah.
You feel better. Your endorphins are more happy when you get something happy, and then but when you hear something that you don't want to hear, now your mood's down. You feel like, oh my God, what's going on? I need to self-medicate. I need to numb this pain because it's not a good feeling.
Right.
This
is therapeutic for me because it's really hitting it home and bringing things to light and reminding me of things that are science fact. And just thinking about, I've been bitching about this house situation all day to the point where it's like, wow, you've really been bitching about it a lot. And I'm tired of talking about it. And I just want to live and do the things that are within my power, that are fun and positive and productive. And so I'm setting that intention for the rest of the weekend.
Yes. Positive
and you're reminding me of that. So thank you.
Yeah. Positive influence, positive vibes, positive reinforcement. Because if you have all this negativity bearing in on you, you're not going to do nothing but attract more what? Negativity.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it but attract more negativity. But if you put out that positive life lamp, you're going to start pulling in more positive influences, more positive entities, more positive people that'll surround you. And by the grace of God, you'll get that angel on your shoulder that say, guess what? You can move in next week. We have everything all set up for you. Don't worry about, that little thing. We don't know why they was tripping them because of that. You're putting out that positive energy into the universe.
Yeah.
Even in your negative, and trust me, I had some negative stuff. I still have to push out that positive in the universe because it will come back.
Yeah.
But you just have to be, even in your darkest hour, in your worst moment, you still have to still think positive, because if you don't, that negative will reinforce on you and you will see nothing but negative. Haven't you noticed that when you have a bad morning, nothing works that whole day?
Yep.
Literally nothing works that whole day. You haven't looked at the positives that have worked that day. You've only focused on the negative. Why? Because that morning started off negative. So you ain't seeing nothing but negative, 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 negative. You ain't even paying attention to the positive things that you are seeing.
Yeah.
You're not even paying attention to them. You skipped over because your focus now was on nothing but negativity.
Yeah.
Now, versus when you have a good day, you wake up good and something negative happens to you, like, it's nothing. La, 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 la. And you feel nothing but the positive things that happen to you. And then when something negative does happen to you, you're like, I don't want to hear that, man. Whatever, going about your business. And you keep on going, feeling the endorphins and keep on seeing positive things happen. So even if you're having a bad day, you still have to look for that positive, because it will turn around. And you've even noticed, if you do have a bad day, I'm having a bad morning, you know what? It's going to get better. Shit actually gets better. And you look back at the end of the night like, I did start off having a bad day, but it kind of ended up good. Why? Because you put out that positive reinforcement. Even though it was negative, you put out that positive reinforcement.
Mm-hmm. Right. I just thought about pushing someone over just now in my mind. Sorry, it's out. It's gone.
Push them over.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And it takes away your shine. It takes away your energy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Even though there's negative things and I was talking about it, I was also like, all right, and back to laughing. It was ebbing and flowing. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't taking up my whole day. It really wasn't. And so any more of these things, and the more I was trying to get things done and move, and the more pushback or the more things weren't working out, I'm like, this is clearly a sign I need to walk away from all of this shit.
Mm-hmm. Start over, reset.
Start
positive,
over.
Reset, positive.
Yep. And
positive thoughts.
Take a cat nap and get ready for this pod.
Here I am. Glad you took a cat nap.
It did the trick.
You probably heard my cat roaming around here a few times meowing. I'm like, Allie, I'm online. Come on, bro. Like, why?
It's so subtle. It's not really taking anything up. I'll take a cat over a dog. Noise.
I don't know where she is now. She's somewhere in the house. She's roaming with one of the kids somewhere. I don't know where
she got what she needed from you and moved on. That's how cats are.
She just wanted to be online for a minute. Meow. Okay, now go about your business. Now you see, she got her positive reinforcement.
Hey, bitch, and then leave.
Like, bitch, I'm here. Like, okay, we see you. We hear you. We can't see you, but we hear you.
Yeah.
She trying to get it on conversation. Like, yeah, that time I was depressed because you didn't give me the catnip and you gave me the food instead. So she wanted to tell her depression story. So it's okay.
Remember that time I sprayed on the couch?
No, she know better than that. You going back? No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, right.
No, she's a good girl. She's a good kitten. She's a good cat. She don't do none of that. She just likes to talk.
Yeah, I'm allergic. At some point, maybe I just need to get a cat and get over being allergic.
But you know what? I heard that people are not really allergic to cats. They're actually allergic to the saliva.
Really?
And by cats licking themselves to clean themselves, they're putting their saliva on their coat. So you're actually allergic to the cat's saliva.
Well, either way,
You're
I got
allergic.
their cat phlegm is makes me itchy as shit.
It makes
So
everybody itchy. I don't know.
I hate that because I do dig. I mean, that would solve. I wouldn't have to worry about a rodent thing from here on forward. I'll tell you that.
They get you
But
one
then
of them
there's,
gangster cats from the west side,
I
man.
mean,
They come in.
all I got to do is pick up a feral cat out here that'll actually give me the time of day, and it's a done deal. They threw him out here on the south side, right? And then I didn't know it. I went up to one. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, "What you on, motherfucker?" Like it literally told me that.
It's like, man, what you want? Like,
I ran away. I was like, the cats own the streets. So
you like my bad partner. I was just passing through. I just wanted to pet.
This is your block. This is your side of the sidewalk. I'm just passing through.
I just wanted to get a pet. That's all. I just want the pet. Just want to hit you purr, bro. That's all. No problems. I want no problems.
Yeah, they're strange out there. They just like they check you out. Like, what you could do something? Can I help you? Are we good?
Like, what you need?
Hello. Yeah, that's really it. And I mean, they're
like,
checking you out.
Like, what you need? Like, what do you want?
Right. Right. Nothing to see here, man.
Like, you ain't never saw a cat before? Like, oh damn.
Right. I know.
Like attitude.
That cat really shit.
That's my type of cat. You come on my crib, shout it. Come on.
That cat needs some therapy. Right.
Right. No, that cat is a therapist. That cat that crosses legs. Let me tell you what's going on. Like, damn, okay, cat. Calm down.
Exactly. So yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Laughter is good for the soul. And again, it's also good therapy. And it's also good to even talk about things that are bothering you. Or again, some people just need to talk. Yeah. Some people just need an outlet. That's a positive outlet. That's not a negative outlet. That's not someone pushing them to do or say or be something that they don't want to be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you see a lot. A lot of these things that's going out. People are depressed and they don't know how to deal with it. Some people, it's taboo to even talk about depression, to even talk about therapy. Like, oh no, therapy. No, therapy is okay. It's okay to see a therapist. It's okay to talk and get shit off your chest. It's okay. Yeah. It helps make you a stronger and better person because you're getting it off your chest. Yes. Someone is actually validating your emotions and feelings, and you're okay. You're not in this by yourself. You're not the only one dealing with this. I'm pretty sure some of the viewers that's going to listen to this stream, or they are listening to it now. And again, thank y'all for coming to the Mayday Mayhem stream. I appreciate it. We here with Mr. Eddie right there. Y'all see Mr. Eddie. Oh, wrong way, Mr. Eddie right there. So, and they may be going through the same thing. Maybe feeling some type of way, and this may be a positive reinforcement for them. If you stay positive and you keep pushing positive, everyone is trial and error. No one on this earth is perfect. No one has a perfect life, and you will never be perfect. It is what it is. We are all human. We are all different, but we are all precious and the same, because it's only one of us. It's only one Eddie Schaefer. It's only one. Yeah. Cannot be duplicated. Cannot be replicated. It's only one. So you're precious, and everyone must look at their life and deal with their life as though it is precious. Yeah. And we can all beat mental illness and depression and any other form if we all stick together and really try to help each other. I come from the time and era where it really did take a village to raise a child. Like, I done did one thing 15 blocks away, and I done got my ass kicked 6 times before I done got home, because everybody in the neighborhood know my mama and grandmama. And by the time I done got home, they done got the switch on me too. So guess what? I didn't do whatever the hell I did no more. Why? Because someone was always watching. It was always someone to look after and look over. we don't live in a society like that anymore.
Yeah,
So
I really want to bring my campaign of Bring the Smack Back. I think that's a good campaign. I think we need to really seriously consider it. And it might prevent more school shootings. Just bring the smack back to the kids, Start doing like personalized, home care the way it used to be. Which is why I'm single and, why I don't have children currently.
We see why you're a comedian.
I'm kind of bullshitting, but
right.
It's been on my mind. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
I mean, seriously, you don't want to abuse anybody, but
no, it's a difference
there needs to be a fearful respect with kids and their parents. You can't be friends.
It's a difference between abuse and chastising. No child should be hit with an extension cord. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. No child should be hit to where they're bleeding. No one should be hit like that. No one. Absolutely.
I'm talking a rap on the ass when they're young enough to take it and not too old to not take it,
Right. A little tap on the hand. But again, the government and our powers that be have taken discipline from us as parents. We tell our child no. The first thing they do, they run to the internet, or they run and call it abuse because you say no, or you are trying to do something to help improve them. It's abuse, but no one has put their hands on them, and it's always a threat. You know what I'm saying? It's always a threat. And then you do see cases where children should be taken out of the home and they're not taken out of the home. And then they end up deceased, like Shaman J. Crosby and the West brothers. They should have been taken out of those homes and they wasn't. And they ended up deceased. And these are children. So it's just almost a power struggle over our children. It's almost like over them. It's a power struggle over them. Like, do the parents raise them, or is society raising them?
Yeah. It's not how it's supposed to be, because it's when you put it like that, it's completely unnatural.
No, it's craziness.
It goes against nature, 100%. Now that you put it in that context, wow, I'm learning a lot. You're giving me a lot of tools tonight, by the way, a lot of positive tools to keep my head on straight, because I am feeling like, I could do some dumb shit or really, go down that rabbit hole. And you're giving me a lot of perspective. And what you're saying is 100% true.
And then when you go down that rabbit hole, what you feel like shit after?
Oh, every time. I mean,
so why put yourself through that torture?
Yeah,
it's torture.
Yeah,
there's no reason. And like we said before, it's insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result.
Expecting a different result, right? We're thinking oh, I've got control over this, and it's like, God,
no, you don't.
How often do you? It's but not refocusing. I wasn't intending on refocusing on me that way, but
no, absolutely no.
I think your point about children and about how it goes against nature to kind of have this power struggle, either government to parent to child. It's a
struggle.
I think it's one of the things that have gotten us to where we are today.
Because it's like social media is raising our kids, because the first thing you hear your 12 or 13-year-old child say, oh, my friends have it, and you don't want your kids to be excluded. So what's the first thing you do? Well, let me try to monitor it. Let me allow you. And now
never happened.
It never happens. It's a power struggle. And now social media is raising your children versus what's allowed in your household and how you're prospectively want your children raised. You see what I'm saying? Because of course, once they get to be adults, they have that opportunity to do and stray and whatever they want to do. But when they're children, I'm talking under the age of 12, 13, 14, and you have society or social media telling them one thing and a parent trying to tell them something else, and what they're necessarily seeing on social media and in society is not the right thing.
Yeah.
It's not right. So it's literally like a power struggle.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen so many thirst trap videos on TikTok.
And our children want to do that.
And the whole like big bank thing. And I'm just like, these girls, women and grown ass women and good looking women and women that across the board, you're like, you seem sane. And I know you are, but what you're doing is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but here I am the creep, you know, on the social media sites, like, ooh, I think I want to look at booty today. And you know,
but they'll call you a creep for looking.
Yeah.
But you put it on now.
Oh,
what do you think? What do you think is going to happen if you put half naked pictures of yourself? You think men are not going to ogle, or women are not going to ogle at you? Like, you don't.
Yeah, it obviously stimulates that primal area, but there's also a lot of moments to where I'm like, okay, why have I been on? There's moments. There's
endorphins.
There's conflicting things of like, okay, I just want to get off and see this wild shit. And then there's also the other part of my mind that's like, this is pathetic across the board. Like, there's a lot of desperate people out there gaining for attention and sexual attention and identity and validation. And from girls to grown men, man, and grown men and women. And it's just it's wild to see that it's just and the same goddamn sound bites, the same music samples of everything, the same like funny little scenarios or premises or whatever the hell it is. And it's just like, wow, this is only uncreative as hell. It's it's a look into how we're devolving as a human race.
It's almost copy and paste.
Yeah. Wow, that's an even much less wordy and more accurate version of what fucking horseshit I was saying just now. Yeah.
No. It just came to me. It's like, it's just copy and paste. Like, I'm going to copy the new TikTok trend and I'm going to paste myself. And then someone's going to copy and paste me and they're going to paste themselves. And it's going to go on and on down the line. But it's for 15 seconds of endorphins, 15 seconds of happiness.
That's really what you happiness. You broke it all down to a very simple component that most people, I think, get out of the things they're supposed to, but a lot of people getting happiness out of this artificial, manufactured cyber joy.
It's empty happiness, because once they cut it off or once they stop scrolling, then the joy goes away, the endorphins go down. And what do? They go right back to this phone and start scrolling, and wishing that they had their life instead of living their life.
Yeah. Oh, you know. God. Well, I'll do the same thing, and I'll get on and I'll look at contemporaries and other people in the field that I'm, artistically, dealing within, and comparing them and like, well, why are they accepting it, or why are they hugging that person, or why are they in that clique, or am I not accepted? Or just like, well, idiot, like you have to actually got to put yourself out there. And the whole thing is you just got to go grind and do your thing and work and worry about all that shit will come to you. Shit.
Absolutely. You can't worry about nobody else.
Like, because I know that at some point I got thirsty and it was like the person could tell. And I'm like, man, I need to dial this back. Like it really, I think with being a creative and certainly being in the comedy field, it's very easy. And I have most things in perspective most of the time, but it's very easy to trip up those insecurities that you do have and make you kind of act out and and think too much about it and worry about your own self-image of how you're being looked at and what you're not doing enough of and what you are maybe doing too. It's really easy to fall into those traps. And I wish I could cut off that part of my brain, but that's where therapy is going to have to come in, if I could fucking get a hold of them. But
I fall into that trap all the time. Like, why can't I do this or why? But then I have to reel it back and say, hey, yo, Mayday, because you're not them and they're not you. You're your own person. You're your own self. Like, that might be something you want to strive for, but yo, you're you. Like, you're your own creative. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you can't be quote unquote envious of what someone else is having or doing. That should be more of a grind and step for you to say, you know what? I'm going to be just as big as them or maybe bigger. Damn, maybe one day we can collab together. Man, absolutely. One day we can do this, do that, do this, and you keeping that still that positive push and positive headspace to go further, and you're not downing yourself, because everyone, we always look at ourselves like, oh, damn, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. But that's not thank you for the likes and the thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. We really do appreciate it. But you might get that down feeling like you're not good enough. Yeah. No, you are good enough. You're more than good enough. You're better than good enough. Like, it's all in you. And you just have to let your genuine self out and your genuine self grow and shine. And people are going to see that, and people are going to gravitate towards that. And it's going to be positive people and positive influences that are going to gravitate. So you just have to keep that mind space.
Right. Well, thank you for that. It's really easy to compare and go, why am I not at the same level at them right now? It's like, dude, you just fucking you've only been doing this a year. I've
been doing it 5 years.
Yeah.
It's going on my 6th year.
Yeah. And some people 10 and
20, 30.
Yeah. And I think I'm doing okay. But I do want to be in the same level with my contemporaries in the same space and feeling the same camaraderie, but it's like, it's not going to be like that. Like, what, you're just going to you're going to wow and charm this whole tribe of people that don't know you for shit. Like, who are you? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not Barack Obama. Shit.
But the kicker is you will. That's the thing. You will.
Yeah.
That's the whole kicker. You will. And you have to stay in that consistent positive mind space. Like, oh, I'm just as good as them. The fuck? What you mean? No, I'm Eddie Schaefer. I'm Mr. Eddie. I'm just as good as their asses. Right. The world just doesn't know it yet. Wait till they see me. You have to still keep that mind space, because again, us artists and anyone else, it doesn't have to be art, anybody, we get in our own head and we put self-doubt. And when we put self-doubt in ourselves, we're literally only putting our own selves down. We're putting our own self down.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And it's human nature, because again, we are humans. We are using to gravitate to each other. Like, we're having human to human connectivity right here. This is what we're used to doing.
Yeah.
And this is what makes us feel better, to cling and to, click on to other humans that'll help us feel better.
Right.
That'll help push us up and not bring us down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you just have to stay with positive people with a positive mind space that want to be positive, that don't want to see your downfall, that want to see you strive and grow and be the best you. And if they not down for that, fuck them. They don't need to be in your life, bruh.
Yeah.
They don't need to be there. I'm sorry. They don't need to be there, because it's only going to bring you down.
Yeah, and I've worked very hard to
get where you are.
Distance myself and take a left turn from that ridiculousness, because I'm not here to change it. Again, it also comes down with like the fight that you don't need to fight and that you can't win and you don't have to win.
No.
you keep moving in a different direction and keep supporting yourself and feeding yourself with really good things.
Sometimes the person that actually loses fight is actually the person who really wins. It's okay to walk away from a fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Your life may
Will
be
Smith.
better. It's okay.
Perfect example.
Right, Will. It's okay. You walk away from a fight.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, while you're at it, you might want to walk away from that marriage.
That's a conversation.
I probably raised a lot of feathers even joking about that.
Look, I'm kind of with you because she gaslighted that whole situation. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
It's bad. And there's a microscope. I mean, it's a psychologist's wet dream right there on film. And I mean, we all saw it. And I mean, we all had time to dissect it, analyze it, joke about it. The Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, we all had time to dissect it, analyze it, think about it, apply it to our own experiences, and it's all bad. And it's something wrong on a global scale. It's something wrong with like the culture of Hollywood. It's something wrong with toxic people, whether they're men or women, because they can be both.
Yes, absolutely.
The future is female, but the future is people also.
It's toxic people. You find toxic men. You find toxic females. You find toxic couples that are just toxic people together, creating toxic chaos amongst the world.
I've been on either side and a participant in a coupling of that.
Yes, and I've been in a toxic relationship. I was in a relationship with a narcissist for almost 10 years, which was, that was a wild ride, and I'm glad I'm off that ride.
I mean, it's sort of like, I think you don't know what you're in until you're out of it, and I think part of the appeal is admitting that, hey, I think we got off on the drama a little bit, whether we wanted to admit it or not. Like, it's like some of us guys will talk about, like, we don't want drama, but us guys want a girl with a little bit of drama, though, or a partner. But being out of it for so long, like after a string of relationships where they happen to be in a very toxic place, and I wasn't, it put me in a very toxic place and put me down. So it's like, so now that I've been single AF for quite some time, I've been more clear-headed, focusing on things that I can nurture, that are positive things, that feed me spiritually, that feed me mentally, that feed me emotionally. And I'm now more clear as to what I want to dive into when it's time to do that again.
Exactly.
Because
you work on yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the more attractive quality with people in general is when they have their own shit going on. They don't need anybody else. Like they're already self-fulfilled. They're not doing it by this desperate thirsty attempt for validation, or doing all these wild things to just impress someone and get in this clique, or I'm not sniffing anyone's ass, and I'm not like going that extra mile. I'm going to hustle, but I'm going to do it in an organic way. I'm going to push and work like you should. I'm going to talk that talk, but I ain't going to be gross about it. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to play myself for anybody else to get there. I'm too old for it. I don't need it. I don't need to do that. I should be fulfilled enough with all the things that I'm doing just by doing them, just by getting better at doing them, just by getting out there and doing the physical work, the individualized work to get to those places. I'm blessed to even have the ability to do music, to do radio, and now comedy. I'm humbled to do it. Of course, that doesn't mean I'm sitting on my laurels. I'm in my head enough. There's enough self-critique that I think is good for you, but to the point where it's just like holding you back. It's like, come on, man, let's have fun again. Have fun. Right. There's no timeline. There's no timeline. And I think because I got to that place of abuse, self-abuse, where I look back at my life and I was like, you got no savings. You wasted your life. You've been a fucking follower. You've been a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
You've done all these things where it's like you gave other people the fucking energy when you sucked out your own good juice.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to that point where it's like, and here I am at this age, and I ain't got shit, or I'm not at the place where I'm comparably where my friends should be, or where I should be to my friends or other people. And then it all comes crashing down. And but now that I rolled down that hill, I did it, and now I'm just climbing back up. And now I know I don't need to do that anymore. And for my own self-preservation, as you said earlier, I need to just enjoy the goddamn process. And that's all I'm trying to do. Like, oh, but I'm not going to have some attitude after 10 years because maybe I'm not there. Like, because I've seen that in other people. And it's like, you ain't doing yourself or anybody any motherfucking favors by doing that shit.
It's kind of a sort of bitterness and anger for themselves, because just because that's where you want to be doesn't mean that's where you're going to be. You might be higher, or you might be just right there. And it might be something inside of you holding you back. And sometimes you have to let go. And again, that's that negative reinforced feelings that our human brains have, that we always beating ourselves down. Especially when you've been in a toxic relationship and you've been beat down by a toxic person. You kind of it's still there, and you kind of relive what they were saying, like, oh my God, like he said, I wasn't good enough, or I'll never be good. And you kind of start going into that old feeling, and then you have to pull yourself out, like, you know what? That's not true. I am good enough. And you look at the accolades that you've come across so far. I am good enough. I did this. I did that. I did this. I'm here. I'm there. And you have to build yourself up and keep them negative components out of your mind. You literally, it's a battle. Your own mind, it really is a battle. And I understand, because I battle with it too. I battle with it. Sometimes I don't feel good enough. Oh, why am I doing this? Oh, this is not. But then I look back on the accolades I did and how far I've come. Like right now, I'm studying at Second City right now. Something I wouldn't never thought I would have been doing.
Right.
Never.
That's so cool.
And I have to look back and be like, you're studying at Second City. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. And you're doing a good job. So why are you doubting yourself? Look where you were before and how far you have come. Why go back to where you were? You know, of course you're going to stumble and fall and self-doubt, but again, you have to look at your accolades. You have a whole radio show. You're doing open mics. You're doing stand-up. You're doing outreach. You're doing things that you probably would have never thought you were doing 10 years ago. You're still doing your music. Look at all the accolades you have. Fuck all that negative stuff, but look at the positive things that you do have, because I guarantee you, if you make a list of your positives, it's going to outweigh your negatives by tenfolds. So why do we have to keep focusing on the negative? Negative shit happen. It happens. Bad shit happen. It is what it is. It happens. Okay. Now it didn't happen. What's next? Are you going to wallow in self-pity or self-doubt because this negative thing happened? No, you get up, you brush yourself off, get yourself together, get back up on that horse, and you ride back on. You fall off again, what you do? Oh, shit, fell off again. Let me get on back up here and keep on riding. You don't stop. You don't slow down. Because once you stop and once you slow down, that's when those negative thoughts start hitting you.
That's been like 4 weeks, and it's like, oh boy, like I feel the effect, and I know, hey, this isn't gonna work. Like whatever you had to go through, great, but now that's done. You're done.
It's done. It's over. That whatever happened last week, that was last week. It's over. It's over with. Now we have to deal with today, tomorrow, and next week. Things are going to get better. Things are going to get to a better place. It's going to excel positively, but we have to focus on the positive. Again, I remember last year, perfect example, last year for Memorial Day, I damn near cut off one of my toes in the backyard while
Okay.
I was barbecuing.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was crazy. Now I could have been walking around here like, oh my toe, what am I gonna do? Oh no. Do you know I had 5 stitches in my middle toe and I still went outside on that grill and was barbecuing?
Okay.
And my children were mad at me because I cut my foot. They weren't mad because I was barbecuing. They was mad because I cut my foot. I'm like, how you mad at me and I'm the one hurt? They said because you was stupid with what you did. How did I cut my foot? I had the hedge clippers out. When I barbecue, I like to clip around my hedges. I had the hedge clippers out and I didn't have any shoes on. It's my backyard. I don't have any dogs, so I can walk around barefoot. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I put the clippers down, was not paying attention to it, and I tripped over it, and my toe literally hit it. Whose fault was that?
Right.
My fault. That was my fault. Oh. Well, it was my fault. And I couldn't be mad at nobody but myself. And I was mad at myself for a minute because I couldn't wear a shoe for almost 2 weeks. So I'm like, and I had shows to do. So I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do a show with one sock on and a shoe? So I'm trying to literally squeeze my foot into a bigger shoe. And it was craziness. Yeah. But I got through it. And I look back on it and I laugh.
Yeah.
Because it was a dumb thing that I did. And I beat myself up for it so bad. Like I really did beat myself up for like, you were so dumb. What if one of the children would have failed? What? Oh my God. What were you thinking? You know, I really, really beat myself up. I really did until I had to think about like, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. You saw what you did was wrong. Now, have you learned from your mistake? Yes, I have. What will you do now? I will not bring the hedges out, and I will make sure that I put them far, far away. Exactly. That's what you're going. And what else? I'm going to have shoes on.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now you know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, so it's trial and error. Same thing have to apply to life. When things bad happen to you, shit. Okay. All right. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Okay, I did that. Won't do that no more. Who? I was talking to them. Won't talk to them no more. You figure out what you've done and you progressively make better decisions. That's it. That's all.
Right.
That's all life is. You make mistakes and you learn from them and you make better decisions behind it. But you can't beat yourself up about them. You can't. That's again what causes depression, mental illness, you know, by putting all this pressure on you for something that you're not even going to remember happened 7 years from now or 2 years from now or a year from now. You're not even going to remember.
Yeah.
Like literally, there is no scar on my toe. If I would never told anyone, no one would have known it was there.
Right.
It healed. It's like it never happened. But I learned from it. And you have to take life with that. Even if it's a negative experience, negative time you're going through. Oh, I learned this. I learned that. Well, it should be some bylaw that says this is against the law for you to turn me down for an apartment just because I was late on my rent 1 or 2 times. And there has to be some type of bylaw against this. There's always something. Or like, again, someone's going to come and say, oh, that's it. That's all. We'll take him. No problems. So, but you still have to keep that positive mind space and that positive.
Yeah.
That's all. You have to stay positive because that negativity will eat you alive. It really will.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be homeless. Like that's a guarantee.
Oh God, no. But it's just a struggle that you shouldn't. We're adults that we shouldn't have to deal with certain shit that we literally should not have to deal with. But with the powers that be, we have to deal with them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it shouldn't make our lives depressive to where we can't function in normal way and be happy and prosperous. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen, but we just have to deal with it and move on and make better decisions. Stay away from negative people. Like my mama say, you be around the wrong person, they'll put some bad juju on you. Be around the wrong people, they negativity will rub off on you.
Yep, it has. And yep.
That's why I be by myself.
It's just easier.
It's easy to be by myself.
You know, when it happens, and it's like I'm impatient, and I think the whole self-deprecating, self-medicating, it's because, oh, you're finally awake of the time that you quote unquote wasted, to where you could be more comfortable and not having to deal with these things today. And so then I went into a mindset of, well, I only have so much time left on this planet. I got to go hard. So when you go hard and then you run into a block, then you're like even more frustrated, because it's like, God damn it, I want to get to this place. When am I going to be able to profit off of all this other stuff besides what I got to do to grind for work? And then so it's this sort of trying to beat the clock that I've had to, and you're reminding me of again, to let go of.
Let it go. There is no timer set that says you have 1 hour to complete this challenge. Mm-hmm. No. You are the timer. Whenever the fuck the challenge is completed, it's completed. However fast I complete it, however slow I complete it, whatever tactics I use to complete it, as long as it's completed in the right and just way and I complete it correctly, as long as I complete it. Because let's think about it. You never really complete what you really want. You never really do. You never really do. But you have to, again, stay positive and push forward. Again, this is not going to be the only bump in the road or slip up or thing that is going to happen in life. It's going to be a trillion billion more. But you can't focus on that negative. You have to focus on that positive. Because the more you focus on the negative, the more negative is going to come in. You have to be positive and focus positive aspects and pull from them positive resources.
And the more that I'm actually working towards those positive goals, the more challenges present themselves. But
absolutely,
I also look at that, as much as I've talked about the negative aspect, I also look at those things as a positive, because that means you're doing shit. And because you're doing shit, you're going to reach a different level of struggle, a different level of pushback that other people who aren't doing shit aren't experiencing.
No.
So that's the reality. That's the yin yang of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And so that also keeps it in perspective for me too.
Yep. That absolutely. This is a means to an end. You're going through this to get to a better place. And you're going to look back on this and be like, damn, I remember when I had to go through this to get to where I am now.
Yeah.
It's a phase. It's a process. Everything that literally in the past couple of months I have been through, I'm like, you know what? It's a test. It's a phase. It may be some negative shit happening right now to me, but you know what? I'm going to take it with stride. I want to try to be positive. I want to push positivity out. And slowly but surely, I'm getting that positivity back. It took time, but every time I get something, a brick thrown at me, you threw a brick, let me make me a wall with this brick. I'm sick of y'all throwing these damn bricks at me. I got me some concrete, don't worry. So, every brick you throw, I'm going to build something with it. Keep throwing bricks, so that's the way I'm trying to look at life and look at aspects of life, because it's not going to be perfect. It will never be perfect. So,
amen.
You just have to take it as it is and keep striving forward.
Well, thank you for that. And hell, thank you for the opportunity to be on this program.
Oh, of course. You know, you always welcome here, Mr. Eddie.
Thank you.
Always welcome.
And I was wondering, I'm like, I got to talk to her about this too, because I saw there was another in the kitchen. And I know we had talked about getting my behind in there. And I'm like, wait, something already happened without me.
Oh, well, we haven't did another open mic yet. We're going to, since it's warming up, so we probably will be doing more open mics at Get in the Kitchen, where you have dinner. Well, you cook a dinner, prepare a dinner, you have wine, and then we come in with a comedy. They also have a drag night where they have drag show.
It's always
I'm trying to get to the drag show night. I'm like, listen, Jason, when is this the next drag show night? Like, I would like to be in the audience this time. So,
yeah, right.
Like, I want to be in the audience this time, but
you want to be drinking.
Right, wine. We're drinking wine and we're making food. So we won't go out of there drunk on an empty stomach, you know, and it's 100%. So I can't wait to get to see one of the drag shows. But
I'd love to do another one of those. I love the atmosphere there. I thought the vibe was cool. I can only imagine it with even more people. So yeah.
We'll be doing another open mic again since it's warmer and everyone is outside and everything. So we'll be able to do more open mics. So it'll be popping this summer.
So what do you got coming up? Why don't you self-promote right now?
Oh, right now it's just my the Mayday Mayhem stream right here where I'm talking about crimes and other things that's going on in the world. Back to my podcast. Again, I'm studying at Second City right now.
Beautiful.
I'm still doing shows at Get in the Kitchen, and I'm still going to open mics. Like, I'm hitting up open mics. So we might meet up at an open mic one night. I don't know. I'm like, Eddie.
Yeah, well, word up. Mayhem. Yep, exactly. Are you still doing the Extraordinarium? Is he still doing
no, because I've been doing classes at Second City, and it's on the same day as Flabby Hoffman Radio Extravaganza, which is 2000 North Milwaukee, where the Exploratorium, where you can buy all type of like gifts and little trinkets. It's an awesome shop. It's an awesome place. Like, I be up in that band stuff. Like, I really
a lot of retro toys and books and wild, weird, obscure stuff from all over in every different era.
Yes,
like real strange cargo kitschy shit, that maybe like the Partridge Family lunchbox set or something like that. Like, nothing but fun. I don't know where he gets it. Like, I don't know how he's even surviving.
It's a fun house. It's like a big fun house.
And then there's a stage in the back for stand-up comedy or music.
Yeah. He does have stand-up comedy there. Sometimes I believe it's on Tuesdays sometimes. I'm not sure.
Tuesdays. Yeah. It was fun. It was fun to play that room, actually.
It's always fun at the Exploratorium. Because again, that was a golf course, but when the pandemic hit, the stage part, that was like a golf course. It was a mini
hilarious.
It was a mini golf course. And when the pandemic hit, we had to shut that part down because of course you couldn't have people inside.
Yeah.
And then, so then he turned it into the stage. And also on Saturdays and Sundays, they have a sale where they have where you can go in there and you have jewelry or shirts, or it's like an artist sale every Saturday and Sunday there. I think like 11 to 6 or something like that.
Fun.
So that happens every Saturday and Sunday, pretty much. Again, with the radio station that goes on every Saturday from 1 to 4:30.
Okay, excellent.
Well, so it's important. Always there. Always support Flabby.
And then most definitely. And I owe him another few visits, but and then a few other things you're doing, just to open mics. Then you're cracking back into it.
Yeah, more open mics, more acting. I did do another show. So I have to wait for that to come out. So I've just been, like I said, mostly I've been wrapped up between stand up and Second City.
Got it.
Well, I've been pretty much there trying to.
Well, that's your focus, and you realize that's the amount of energy you can devote to that and those two things to do them well.
Yeah, and with the kids. So
you're super mom. I'm wondering if like moms just need to get paid to be moms. Well, then that's a whole nother can of worms. But like moms like you, for sure.
Yeah, pay us for being mommies. Like
that's a whole other game. Yeah,
it's hard.
Well, you got my love and support on that.
Oh, thank you, Eddie. Thank you.
I'm gonna thank you. I'm gonna shamelessly plug myself one more time here.
Go ahead, plug yourself. Where are you? Of course, before we end the podcast, where are you?
Where am I? I'm in that part of the podcast. So I'm 6/9 next Thursday, Ashbury Improv in Willow Springs, 9 p.m. I'm gonna be a featured comedian along with some others. 6/17, that's going to be, I have to look at the other damn picture again, because again, let's go back to me not being organized at all. No, I'm kidding.
It's all good.
17th, this will be at OMWP Studios, hosted by Chavez Del Barrio. He's really opening up a lot of different spots for us, and he's a genuine artist. Really interesting cat. That's going to be the 17th of June, 2113 West Armitage. I believe that's going to be a 7 p.m. show. The 18th, so that whole weekend. So then the 18th at E77 Sports Bar in Midlothian. That's going to be an 8 o'clock show, sort of under the theme of Latinx Dos Comedy. He's kind of has that as a title. So there's a few other comedians that we're all doing similar shows that month, and so it's going to be exciting to be doing multiple things with other comedians that same shows. That's kind of exciting.
It's always fun.
And then Sunday the 19th at Red Room Comedy Club, it's going to be a theme. June 19th, Juneteenth. So I will be performing June 19th. So I got to do some black humor, some African American humor, and not just about red velvet cake necessarily. But that's at Red Room, 7442 Northwestern, from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. I don't know how they're going to work. No, wait, that's a 7, not
7. I'm like, that's got to be a 7. The Red Room is not open at 1.
My eyesight is starting to get a little fucked up. It is a 7 to 9. That makes way more sense.
I'm like, 1 o'clock, they're not even open. Wait a minute, I don't think they're open for that.
The font of the 7 is just, it's not, you got to have that head tilt a little more. Yeah. So in any case, 7 to 9, June 19th, Juneteenth, and the theme is called Nerds with Jokes.
Oh.
And it is cosplay encouraged. So I'm hoping to see some sexy nerds out there. And I'm going to do some nerd humor, or at least certainly take the nerd part of my life and put that into humor that night. So those are all the shows going down in June for me. So I'm very excited about it and to have the opportunity to get it going. And then, of course, I do Thursday nights typically. Well, I won't next Thursday. I'll be at Ashbury Improv. I do Thursday nights at Northeastern Illinois University, NEIU as a wizard, WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM. Rep that shit. It's one of the few freeform radio stations in Chicago, 45 years deep. It's got quite a history, and it's in the student lounge of a major college, Northeastern Illinois University. So, yeah, there I am. And I guess you could catch me on Instagram, Schaefer Eddie, my name backwards, Schaefer Eddie. Yeah, real hard, right? Real technical. I thought real hard about that one. Schaefer Eddie on Instagram, and then Eddie L. Schaefer on Facebook. The way my name is spelt, with an L in the middle for Lee or Luscious, depending on how you're looking at me right now.
I think all the ladies said Luscious. They're saying Luscious.
Luscious. He's luscious that way.
He looks delicious.
He looks delicious. That I think you need to follow his lead. I think you need to sign the dotted line and trust in Luscious tonight. it's it's all the rage.
Oh yes, of course.
Not what? Yeah, exactly. Back, the glasses are back on. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Eddie, for coming through. I appreciate it. And y'all can follow me at Instagram at the way it's spelled right here, Mayday Mayhem. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Ms. Mabel, MZMABEL. And we have Schaefer Eddie, which is backwards for IG.
Yeah.
You got the L for the luscious up in there. Know.
I mean, come on.
Come on. Where can you, sir?
How can you deny it? How can you deny it, man?
How can you deny it, ladies? How can you?
Mr. Bojangles. Mr. Bojangles.
So I want to thank you so much, Eddie, for kicking it and rocking it out with me. Hopefully we get you on again.
Hell yeah.
You're always welcome to come back anytime. Thank you again for sharing your experience. And, we talking about how, mental health is, also a part of the arts, and how also artists deal with mental health, and how we can do better hobbies other than abusing our bodies and abusing ourselves, to make a better leadway in a positive life. So I thank you again. And I thank everyone for listening. Thank you for the hearts and the likes. I appreciate it. Please like, share, tell your friends, come back. I'm going to end this stream the way I end all streams. If no one told you they love you, I do. I truly, truly do. And make sure you do better today than you did yesterday, and strive for a better tomorrow today. You're precious. You're precious cargo. It's only one of you because you're special. Because it's only one of you. That's why. So, again, thank y'all. I'll see y'all next time for another Mayday Mayhem stream. Thank you again, Mr. Eddie Schaefer. And again, where can they find you at before we end the broadcast on IG?
They can find me at Schaefer Eddie on Instagram, and on Facebook, Eddie, middle initial L as in Lee, Schaefer on Facebook.
Now, are you going to be putting your shows on Instagram so we can see where we can find you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that because I'm a little technologically in the dark ages. But I've been getting better at my stories. But I'm gonna have to trying to put clips. I'll definitely be recording clips. My phone is shite. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, or a post where we can see your lineup.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I do stories. So I'll do the IG stories, and then I'll be up for like 24 hours. But I could also do like a regular post on my page, on IG, definitely on Facebook as well. And to make sure I'm consistent with that, like I'll probably put another one up before the end of the weekend. All the updated lists so that you can keep following. Just keep checking in with the IG site, with the Facebook site, and you will see either on the story or in my actual page. I will have those things posted. And if there's other ways that I need to do it, like I also need a YouTube channel at some point because I got a 20-minute show that I've done that I paid. It's been filmed, so I just need to upload it.
You need to upload it. Yeah, just upload it.
I had trouble uploading it. It stopped halfway, and I'm like, what in the hell's going on? So I need to talk to – I keep forgetting about it. I mean, it's over a year old.
But still.
Yeah, but I'm still going to so I got to just talk to maybe you after the show. I don't know, but I'll talk to somebody. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out now, perhaps, and I can upload it, and then that'll be right in that. So I'll have a YouTube channel hopefully by the end of the weekend because I do have a little bit of content.
Yeah, all you got to do is just – we're going to get you together. We're going to figure this out.
We'll figure it out. So check it out. And it'll be the YouTube channel will be Mr. Eddie or Mr. Eddie Chicago in case Mr. Eddie's been taken. But I haven't seen anybody really try to own that Mr. Eddie. It seems like no one wants to touch it. You know how I got it is like black women, like older black women. I'd say my name and they're like, well, okay, Mr. Eddie. We'll take care of you. And it was always that. And I thought, wow, why haven't I been calling myself that? Because everyone else seems to be calling me that. It's a term of endearment. So I thought that was fun. I've been a lot of nicknames and aliases over the years, so this seems well suited.
Mr. Eddie. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Eddie, get off my lawn.
All right. Well, Mr. Eddie, we will be seeing you back here for the Mayday Mayhem stream. I know we're gonna be seeing you back here. Yes. So
follow her, everybody. Keep following her. She's the bomb. You're the real deal.
Follow him. Follow him. He's an awesome guy. Follow him. Right, whichever way it goes. Him.
Oh, over. Oh shit! What if my finger actually came into your screen? That'd be pretty cool.
Right.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, right.
Wait. I don't know which way it's gonna go.
When Eddie's hand become Mayday's hand.
Right.
We got to work on that. We'll
work on it. Improv. We got to work on it. So
that's right.
Have a good night. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Stay healthy. I love y'all. See y'all next time.
Cheers, everyone. Much love.